Imagine you're trapped in an elevator during a zombie outbreak watching your secretary get eaten alive through the door gap. Your wife calls crying as infected people break into your home. A police officer reaches you, but he's already bitten and transforming. You have 1 gun, 6 bullets, and a dozen zombies clawing at the doors. You're trapped in a metal box with no escape. Businessman Claudio Verona's morning starts badly when his usual driver is late and young Ricardo replaces him. Traffic is worse than normal, and when Ricardo turns on the radio, news reports riots happening across Rome. Small groups are attacking in perfect coordination, but police haven't released statements. Claudio barely pays attention while reviewing meeting notes. He's annoyed by the radio and tells Ricardo to turn it off. When Ricardo asks for career advice, Claudio's phone rings, interrupting them. It's Sarah, his secretary, asking what to do with the waiting client. Claudio says to offer breakfast and keep him there until he arrives. At the office, secretary Sylvia waits with coffee and reminds him about his golf game. She's still a trainee, so Claudio tells her to schedule a meeting with Sarah because he likes initiative. He rushes into the elevator, joining co-worker Marta, who refuses to kiss him. Marta reminds him their affair is over and she's getting married, but Claudio doesn't care since he's been married 5 years. Unable to accept rejection, Claudio stops the elevator and pushes Marta against the wall. He won't let go when she tries escaping. Marta eventually grabs his groin, telling him it would have worked if he wasn't a filthy pig. When the elevator reaches her floor, she exits after insulting him, but Claudio doesn't mind. After pressing his floor button, Claudio gets a call from wife Lorena, who mentions riots and block streets. Mid-conversation, the elevator gets stuck. This doesn't faze him because it happened last month, but what he doesn't know is this time the world outside is ending. As he says goodbye, Lorena asks him to buy milk after work, and he gets angry at her for thinking about that during his complicated day. Claudio presses emergency, contacting maintenance, explaining he's stuck and needs this solved for his important meeting. The technician says there's a power problem on the roof and he'll send men to investigate. While waiting, Claudio calls Sarah, reminding her to keep their client from leaving. After lighting a cigarette, he hears noises outside and calls for help but gets ignored. Getting angry, he calls maintenance again, but the technician lost contact with his rooftop men. He gives Claudio their number to call directly. The rooftop technician explains they're resetting the generator but aren't sure what's wrong, which angers Claudio. The conversation suddenly stops when the technician sees something, making them freak out and run. Claudio presses emergency, demanding answers, and after arguing, the head technician agrees to check the roof himself. Tired of waiting, Claudio takes matters into his own hands. He removes his jacket and pushes the elevator doors apart. It takes effort, but he opens the first door wide enough. However, the second door gets stuck on a misplaced part and only opens enough for his head to fit. The elevator stopped before the 7th floor, giving him a view into offices. He asks for help, but nobody answers. He gets a call from Lorena, who's afraid because someone is pounding on their door but won't answer. He tells her to call police, but the line isn't working. Claudio says to lock herself in the bedroom while he calls friend Stefano, asking him to check on her. Stefano agrees, but warns traffic is awful. When he calls Lorena again, she's more scared because news shows violence taking over streets. Claudio doesn't take her seriously and tells her to calm down and wait for Stefano. Moments later, he's looking at news headlines. They discuss strange attacks and blocked roads, plus mention a recently evacuated burning lab. After lighting another cigarette, he's startled by cries for help. A scared group runs past, including Marta, who falls right in front of him. She begs for help and Claudio grabs her arm, but whatever is on the other side is stronger and drags Marta away. Finally, taking the situation seriously, fear sinks in. Curiosity gets the best of him, so he approaches the door again and is startled by 2 zombies trying to reach inside. Claudio steps back and can only stare at the creatures, who leave when they hear a voice down the hall. He receives a call from Stefano saying he's almost at the house. Claudio tries explaining what's happening, but Stefano doesn't understand and the call ends when he's attacked by zombies. The technician contacts him saying he couldn't find his workers. Claudio tries explaining, but once more the call ends when zombies attack the technician. After crying in despair, he calls Lorena and Sarah, but neither picks up. Moments later, Sarah calls back and she's telling him she's locked up when a zombie reaches inside, grabbing Claudio by the neck. After struggling, he frees himself and takes the handrail off the wall, using it to beat the zombie's head until it dies. Now there's blood on the floor, his hands and face, so Claudio grabs water from his suitcase, washing some blood off. The dead zombie sight gets on his nerves, so he uses the handrail to push it away. Zombie blood spreads on the floor, so he uses paperwork to cover it. When he hears a noise, he grabs the handrail, but it's just Sylvia. He calls her over, and after telling her to speak quietly, he asks for help opening the door using the handrail as leverage. Sadly, 2 people aren't enough. The handrail slips from his hands, making loud noise. They hear zombies coming, so Sylvia tries entering, but the gap isn't wide enough, so she runs before zombies find her. One arrives trying to reach Claudio, but Sylvia comes back, beating it to death with a golf club. They laugh about her beating her boss with his own club and don't see more zombies coming. They jump on Sylvia and feed on her until she's dead, but here's what Claudio doesn't realize yet. The virus is spreading faster than anyone thought. He picks up his phone, checking news. The army has finally been mobilized. He calls Lorena, crying when there's no answer, but after many rings she picks up. She's telling him about a reporter being attacked on camera when zombies find her ending the call. After crying over losing his wife, another co-worker appears who's been surviving using a lamp. The man wants to enter the elevator, but the gap is too narrow. His effort makes noise, and zombies find him chasing him away. Moments later, Claudio hears a zombie walk by and calls it over on purpose to taunt it. He gets excited when more join. He grabs the handrail, beating them up only to get distracted by screaming at the hall's end. It's Secretary Sarah asking for help, which causes zombies to notice her. Even when she enters an office, they follow her inside. Claudio throws his watch at them, begging them to spare her, but it's pointless. He searches his phone for the reporter video. The woman explains law enforcement confiscated cameras, so she's live streaming from city outskirts. She tells viewers not to reason with zombies and recommends getting out right before they jump on her. As if synchronized zombies reach the elevator door at the same time and the power goes out, Claudio watches them while smoking when suddenly gunshots ring outside. All zombies fall dead and Claudio calls for help, gaining attention of armed officer Marcelo. After making sure Claudio isn't wounded, Marcelo explains he's alone and lost contact with his team. When a zombie attacks, he shakes it off and shoots it with his rifle. After trying to open doors and failing, Marcelo decides to fix the generator. He gives Claudio a walkie-talkie to guide him and a gun to defend himself, then leaves. Claudio tries lighting another cigarette and fails. As he curses his luck, he accidentally presses the walkie-talkie, sending his words to Marcelo, who scolds him for making noise that could attract zombies. After promising his lighter later, Marcelo interrupts to shoot approaching zombies. Moments later, he says stairs to floor 9 are blocked by furniture. Claudio thinks and gets an idea. There's been construction, so there should be scaffolding Marcelo can use to reach the roof. After passing bodies, Marcelo shoots a window to reach scaffolding. The noise attracts zombies, but he stays silent, sneaking around undetected. After Claudio warns him technicians were attacked up there, Marcelo reaches the roof and restarts power. Lights are on, but doors still won't close. Claudio uses his phone flashlight, finding the misplaced piece keeping them stuck. He tries reaching it, but a zombie appears at the gap, trying to grab him. Claudio steps back and retrieves the gun, shooting the zombie. He kills it on his second try. More zombies show up and Claudio hesitates, but thanks to Marcelo's encouragement, he steps up and shoots every zombie at the door. Marcelo congratulates him, but Claudio is in shock, feeling guilty for killing people, especially his colleagues. Marcelo corrects him, saying they aren't people, they're infected, and he had to do it. His thoughts are interrupted when zombie noises reach him through the walkie-talkie, and he loses contact. Not being able to take it anymore, he stares at the gun, considering shooting himself, especially after looking at pictures of his wife. Cops suddenly appear at the hallway's end, running from zombies, and Claudio cries for help, but they leave before seeing him. As night falls, despair takes over, and Claudio puts the gun against his temple, intending to shoot, but being incapable. His frustrated yelling attracts zombies, trying to reach him through the gap. Claudio decides he doesn't want to give them satisfaction, so he puts the gun in his mouth. What stops him is Marcelo's voice calling from the ceiling, asking him to open the hatch. Claudio grabs the handrail, pushing the hatch, creating an opening for Marcelo to come through. After helping him down, Marcelo shoots every zombie at the door with his rifle. Afterward, he checks the blocked door before sitting on the floor, revealing the wound on his leg where zombies got him. Marcelo lends his lighter and gets a cigarette in return as Claudio asks if he has any idea how this started. Marcelo replies all they were told was a virus was released and began spreading. They said it was animal-based, but he doesn't believe it. The virus must have been created in a laboratory and someone lost control. What neither of them knows is Marcelo only has minutes left before he transforms. He starts laughing hard because he remembered a joke from a movie he watched with his wife. He shares it with Claudio, who doesn't find it funny, but takes interest in Marcelo's wife. The two men share details about their married lives, and Claudio reaches the conclusion he isn't a good person. Moments later, while reloading, Marcelo starts coughing blood. He says he's going to lay down to rest, and after falling asleep, he wants Claudio to shoot him twice in the head because he doesn't want to become a zombie. Since Claudio refuses, Marcelo says he'll do it himself, putting the gun against his head. Claudio grabs it, trying to stop him, so they fight over the weapon until Marcelo punches his face, making him let go. Hours later, Marcelo has fallen asleep, but Claudio can't bring himself to shoot him. He changes his mind when pus comes from Marcelo's wound, and he wakes transformed. He tries communicating, but after Marcelo jumps on him, Claudio shoots him first on the body, then twice on the head, making sure he's dead. Claudio's leg has been wounded, so he ties his tie around it, trying to stop infection. His shots attracted zombies, and now there's a horde at the door, but his gun ran out of bullets. Claudio grabs Marcelo's rifle, shooting every zombie he can reach. The impact of each shot pushes his body back until it hits the wall, and with the final shot, he hits his head and falls unconscious. Moments later, he wakes when he hears voices and gunshots in the hallway. There are no zombies except bodies on the floor, and his phone rings, but it's just the alarm. He turns it off, but then his phone rings again. This time it's Lorena, who is alive and well. She ran out of the house and military saved her. The call ends when his battery dies, but this is enough motivation to try escaping. He grabs the handrail, trying to push the elevator piece blocking doors, but can't reach it at the right angle. So he drags Marcelo's body over and steps on it to reach between doors. He manages to grab the piece and take it out, which allows him to push the door all the way. Claudio's finally free. After drinking leftover water, he climbs out, stepping over zombie bodies to reach the hallway. After finding his watch, he puts it and his jacket on before going downstairs. At the lobby, he finds more bodies, including a legless zombie that drags itself, trying to grab him. Claudio pulls the rifle trigger, but there are no bullets, so he smashes the zombie's head with his foot. As Claudio leaves the building and walks through Rome streets, he notices there is no life around, just zombie bodies everywhere. At the bridge, he finds a milk bottle on the ground next to a woman, and remembering his argument with his wife, he picks it up, causing the woman to wake and grab his leg. Claudio steps back, ready to defend himself, but the zombie falls dead when military shoots it from a nearby roof. They're seen by Claudio, who quickly raises his arms and shows them he's fine, hoping they'll allow him to join the refugee shelters. If you're still watching, this means you survived the full story. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.